Well, hi, Andre. I just saw a video you reacted to, something about what your foreigners should know before visiting the United States. Titled something similar to that you reacted to today, and the guy gave some questionable advice, and some one thing he definitely said was totally wrong. And I've seen other people say some of this stuff too. So I thought I'd just send you this video to update you, and then when you do one of your lives, you can ask one of your live people on one of your lives if my information is accurate or if his information is accurate. Now, one of the things that he said that is questionable, he said you're going to fill up your car for $25 to $30. Right now, gas prices are reasonable. Um, and he did use an estimate of a 10-gallon gas tank. So the information he gave was accurate. uh, but it's not exactly what you're going to find. And here's what I mean. A 10 gallon gas tank is going to be in a smart car or a bottom level Toyota or Nissan or something like that. Anything though that with any kind of upgrade is going to have minimum 12-gallon gas tank. And in fact, you talked about driving a Mustang. I checked today, and Mustangs have normally a 16-gallon tank. And of course, once you start getting air conditioning, power windows, maybe a flip top, whatever, they probably upgrade the fuel tank to a minimum of 20 gallons, 22 gallons, somewhere in there. So thinking that you're going to spend $25 to fill up your vehicle is probably not accurate. I've got a Ram 1500, and it's kind of at the bottom of the barrel. It's got electric windows, it's got air conditioning, but that's about it. And it has a 25-gallon tank, 26, something like that. So if you're going to get a Mustang, if you're going to get it from a rental place, it's probably going to be probably going to be upgraded, and it's probably going to have at least a 20-gallon, if not 25, 26-gallon tank in it. So keep that in mind. Also, just to give you a range of what you want to look for or what to expect, I also did I checked the prices of fuel in the town that I'm in, and I'm in a small town. And you're going to find that you're going to find the highest price for gasoline, number one, near freeways, number two, near the airport, number three, any type of amusement type park near there, prices are going to be higher. And then also in rinky-dink towns, meaning towns out in the middle of nowhere, like where I am, you're going to find higher prices. For example, and this is probably not a good example because the price is very similar. There's only two gas stations in the town that I'm in, and one tiny grocery store. That's it. And when I drove past, both stations had the same price, $2.74. When I did and I'm in Texas. When I asked for average price in Texas, I got a price of $2.73. So again, it's not that high. But if you're by the freeway, you're by major business districts where there's lots of hotels, prices are going to be higher. New York today, remember this is the same day, average price $3.14. Why? Because they're charging a lot more for taxes. Now, hold your horses. I don't know if you're planning on going to California. Average price today, $4.86. So over $2 more than here in Texas. And trust me, that's all taxes. California and New York love their taxes. That's why they're losing residents. I'm a California resident, by the way, or was California resident. Now, so in your Mustang, expect to spend a little bit more than that. Now, he also talked about police officers and what to do if you get stopped. He makes it very scary. A lot of people make it very scary. It's nothing like that on average. Police officer's not going to pull his gun because you stepped out of the car, as that guy implied. He or she is going to get on their walkie-talkie, on their PA system, or say something out the window. Hey, please get back in your car. Wait for me to approach you, or something to that effect. Most of the times, they're not going to be rude. Now, you're going to have that officer who just had a bad experience with the last guy he stopped, or maybe his wife bit his head off before he came to work today, so he's in a bad mood. He might be aggressive. But on average, the officer's going to be very polite to you. They're going to be a very good experience when you deal with our police officers, in most cases. And like he said, the reason you want to keep your hands on the wheel is because, remember, we do have guns in this country, and if he or she sees you fidgeting, grabbing, passing things to your wife or whatever, they're going to start asking. They're watching you as they're sitting in their car, calling it in. Hey, I'm stopped at such and such. I've got this vehicle. This is the license plate number. I'm getting out because the guy's speeding. The guy made a wrong turn. The guy did or turned right when he wasn't supposed to. The guy ran over a pedestrian. Hopefully you don't run anybody over, but whatever. And then they're going to get out. But the whole time they're watching you to see how you react. If you're constantly checking over your shoulder, that officer's going to be nervous. If they see you fidgeting around, that officer's going to be nervous. So all you do is, again, you plan on getting the Mustang, there's probably going to be a center console. Take your documents from the rental car, stick them in there. Have your wallet either in your pocket or in there. And then, like I said, keep both hands on the wheel so the officer can see. Now, he or she is going to approach you either on the driver's side, possibly the passenger side. The reason that they sometimes come up on the passenger side, especially if they're nervous, you're giving them reason to be nervous, is because if an officer comes up to the driver's side and you've got a gun, he got it down in front of you, all you got to do is shoot him as soon as he steps up to the front of the door. On the other hand, if that same officer is approaching you from over your shoulder, coming up the passenger side, in order for you to shoot, you've got to come around and go that way to shoot him or her. Now, I know that sometimes the things are backwards on the camera, so I don't know how this is going to look, but that was to my right. Same thing with your passenger. You want your passenger, your wife in this case, I'm sure, to be chill. You're not going to have a problem. So just keep your hands on the wheel. Wait till the officer approaches, and he or she will say, do you know why I stopped you usually? And you're going to say, no, officer, I don't. Be honest. If you're doing 100 and you're in a 55, you know you're speeding. Yes, officer, I was speeding. They'll always tell you, don't volunteer information. Well, if it's that obvious, you might as well volunteer because he knows, she knows, whoever the officer is. And they know that you know. Don't lie to the officer. Do not lie to the officer. Then the officer is going to say, can I see your driver's license and your registration and your insurance? Of course, you're going to reach into, while they're looking, you're going to reach into your center console, pull out the documents I just told you about. Reach around, grab your wallet, pull out your ID, and then you're going to be there probably 20 to 30 minutes. They're going to go back to their car. They're going to verify that the car is no indication that it's been stolen. They're going to run your license, make sure it's good. They're going to check and make sure that you have insurance on the vehicle. And then, assuming all that comes back good, they're going to walk back, hand you your documents. They've already made a decision before they even approach you, probably, whether or not they're going to give you a ticket. And they'll either give you a warning or they'll give you a ticket. If they give you a ticket, you sign it. Don't argue with the officer. A lot of people, especially nowadays, you look on YouTube, you see people, they'll crack their window and they're, I'm not talking. Why'd you pull me off? I'm not talking. and they want to be arguing right away. Don't do that. All you're going to do is annoy the officer. Now the officer's going to give you a ticket. There's no question asked. And they're going to find another reason to add offenses to the ticket. They're going to look around. Oh, is there a light out somewhere? So don't annoy the officer. You don't argue in the car with the officer standing there. He or she's got the gun. And if you become aggressive and they think you're going to be attacking them, they're going to be using pepper spray on you. They're going to use a gun, whatever, if they have to protect themselves or protect the people around them. Then again, that's why you don't get out of the car. People that get out of the car, a lot of times that they're getting out of the car to distract the cop while the second person hides the drugs. Or they're a psycho and they're going to attack the officer. Stay in the car. Stay seatbelted. Oh, seatbelt laws. As far as I know, all 50 states, you have to have your seatbelt, including your child. You're going to need a child seat for your car, for your baby. The rental car may not even rent to you unless you have a child seat. If you don't bring a child seat with you, they're going to require you to have one, and which means they're going to rent one to you at a nice, popular price. And if you watch Benny Hill, you know what I mean by popular price. Look at the gas gauge as soon as you get in the car. Take a picture. Make sure it matches the paperwork. If it says on the paperwork it's a full tank, you look in there, it's 3/4 of the tank. Go back inside, make them fix it. When you return the car, make sure it has a minimum of what it says on the dash. If there's any question when you get in, tell them, please take this car and go get it filled up. We'll start from there. I always rent from Enterprise because Enterprise will come to your hotel and pick you up, or home, or whatever, office, and then the same thing to return the vehicle. Remember, if you're not going to rent the car ahead of time online, the most expensive place to rent the car is at the airport. The guy also talked about turning right on red. The important thing to remember is you treat the right turn on red the same way you would treat a stop sign. You stop so that as you're sitting in the car, you can still see the closest line to you that represents the crosswalk, or if it's a stop sign, there'll be one line. You want to be able to see that line. That way you know you're not obstructing the crosswalk. If you're too far forward and a police officer sees you, he or she may give you a ticket for obstructing the crosswalk. The other reason you want to stop before the line is if you go back and watch that video, both the cars there were two different cars that did what we call a California stop and made right turns. They slowed down as they approached the crosswalk, looking to the left for traffic, and then went. They never came to a complete stop. Both cars did it. So what you do is you stop again so you see the line, then you slowly pull up. Oh, actually look left and right and make sure there's no pedestrians. Assuming there are no pedestrians, you pull up slowly, looking to the left, because that's where the traffic's coming from. Looking to the left, make sure there's no cars coming, and then go ahead and go, unless there's a sign that says no right turn on red. Also, if you're on a one-way and you're turning left onto a one-way, it's treated the same way. Again, only if you're on a one-way and you're turning left onto a one-way, it's treated the same. You'll also see in there a Mercedes slowly creeping into a crosswalk because that he or she was at a red light. That's wrong, because if a cop sees you, he or she is going to give you a ticket for obstructing the stop for the crosswalk. While you wait for a signal, you either have to be fully on the other side of the crosswalk, or you have to be on your side of the crosswalk. One or the other. Never block the crosswalk. The only exception to that is going to be after you stopped at a right to make a right, stopped at the line to make a right turn on a red, and you've looked, verified there's nobody coming, and you can slowly come out and look. Obviously, you can't drive through the crosswalk without obstructing it. And if of course, and if a car is coming, you stop. You're obstructing it. It's not your fault. I think that's it for driving. Oh, no, it's not. There's one thing he said that was way off. If 2 or 3 or 4 people come to stop signs at the same time, he said the person on the right goes first. That is incorrect. Because remember, the first car you're going to impact, or could impact you, is coming from the left. So each person looks to the left, and then you make eye contact with that person, waiting for them to go or to gesture, you go. One or the other. Even if they gesture for you to go, watch them as you pull out and make sure they're not setting you up to have an accident. Whether it's intentional or not. Because they may not be looking for the guy coming on the bike coming from the other way. They may not also know that there's somebody coming up from behind them that's going to go around them. So again, look to the left. He or she will gesture to you to go. You pull out and you slowly pull out as you're looking. But always, left person goes first, or gives you the opportunity to go first. Tipping. You asked about tipping. You never tip for fast food. Ever. There's no reason to. They're not doing anything special. You're tipping for service. So if you go somewhere and have a steak, and the steak is horrible, but your waiter or waitress was wonderful, that's what you base the tip on. If the food was fantastic and your wait staff was horrible, again, that's what you base the tip off, the service that you're receiving. So that's what I mean. So again, if you're say you and your wife are in a hotel, they got a restaurant downstairs or across the street, you call them up, say, hey, I need a couple of steaks. You're going to go in, you go grab the steaks and you bring them back to your room, decide to eat in your room. No tip. Why? Because there's no service. You're tipping for the service. That's why sometimes people will also tip hotel staff, because of the service they give you. Before you leave your country, make sure you have copies of all of your documents. Take a paper copy and keep it someplace safe with you in case you lose your passport or in case your passport is stolen. Also, put images on your devices. I believe Google has an app for that. Your country may also recommend a specific app to use. Keep pictures of your IDs and your passports in those apps. Do not leave your passports in your hotel room. Do not put stuff in the safe in your room. If you want to leave stuff at the hotel, go downstairs and ask the staff, do you have a safe behind the counter? That's the only safe that you want to use. When you're carrying your documents, you want to carry your documents and probably like the diaper bag. If you have a backpack, if somebody mugs you, they're going to take your backpack. They've got your documents. They're not going to take your dirty diapers. Put your documents in your diaper bag. At least a copy. ID checks. Yes, the reason they do ID checks no matter what your age is because the United States, especially California and New York, are very litigious. People are looking for an excuse to sue somebody. Just to give you an idea, we have laws here for the ADA that say that places have to be accessible to disabled people. There may be a building that was built 50 years ago. A disabled person might show up intentionally for this purpose. They'll show up and say, Hey, I can't get into your business and get a hamburger. Well, I'm sorry, this building was built 50 years ago. That law wasn't in effect back then. Okay, I'm going to sue you. So then they'll sue the business. They will win, especially in a liberal state. They will win. I'll give you a perfect example. There used to be a business in a city called Salinas, California. It was a tiny hamburger stand. And that's why I said hamburger. A person that had a wheelchair came up to the business, and I think there was 2 steps, and said, I can't get into your business. So they sued them. So they modified the building and put a ramp on it because they lost the suit. That person came back a second time and said, "Oh, your ramp is." I don't remember the exact circumstances, but let's say it's 2 inches too short, or I think it was too steep. That's what it was. It was too steep, and they don't know the rules. They hire somebody to do this, so they already spent thousands of dollars to have somebody come in and do it, and they screwed it up, and they couldn't get that person to come back and redo it, and they didn't have the money. So what happened? The people went out of business because they couldn't afford to modify it a second time. And then it turns out that person would go around the state of California intentionally. That was how they made their money. They didn't have any income, or not enough, disability or whatever, and they would go around to different restaurants, different buildings, and sue for minor issues. And I understand that people want to be able to access buildings, whether in a wheelchair, whether they're on crutches, whether they have 3 legs. But a hamburger is not life changing, and so I think there needs to be some leeway. I don't remember where it was. I think it was in Nevada. I lived at one time. There was an auto parts store. All of their parking was in the back, except for 1 row right next to the building. And if I remember, it was 11 spaces. And every single one of them was marked handicap. I went in, I parked in the back, went around the building to the front, went inside, and I said to the guy, I said, all those spaces next to the building, I said, I counted them, I think there's 11 of them. They're all marked handicap. He says, yeah, because of the square footage of our building, we're required to have a certain number of spaces, and that's how many we're required to have. I said, but what are the chances you're going to have 11 disabled people in your store at one time? This is an auto parts store. Didn't matter. Again, the United States is very litigious. People are always looking for the easy way out. So going back to where I got on this subject was the ID. I've seen people that looked old enough that were not old enough. I've seen people that weren't old enough that had fake IDs. I've seen people that were old enough to look very, very young. I used to know a lady. This is many, many years ago, of course. She was telling me something about her son. And I'm looking at this. This is a lady I'd known for some time. I thought she was 19. She's telling me all this stuff about her son, and I'm thinking, she's 19. Her son, what, at the most 3? But the things she's telling me lead me to believe he's much older. So I said to her, how old is your son? She said he's 19. What? 19? Yeah. I thought you were 19. Oh, no. I'm 39. I don't believe you. She pulled out her ID, showed me she's 39. Another employee walked by. I said, how old do you think she is? Oh, 19, 20. She's 39. No, she's not. So, obviously she got carded everywhere she went. But there are people, again, looking for an easy way out. And they might walk into a business They look old enough. Maybe they have a beard, but they're still in high school. They show they buy their beer, and they walk out the door, and they come back in, and they said, hey, by the way, I'm only 17. Uh-oh. You got a choice. You can give me some money, or I'm going to sue you. Or sometimes police will do a sting. But let's go back to what I was saying about being litigious. So now the store owner's got to make a decision. Is he or she going to take the chance of letting that person walk out with a beer and give them money, and then have them still turn around and report them to the police, possibly? Or are they going to let them go out the door and where they know they're going to get sued, and they know they're going to go to the police? They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. So that's why no matter how old you are, they're going to check your ID for alcohol, for cigarettes if you smoke. I think that's it. Anyway, if anybody else sees this and they also want to comment, let Andre know that I was either full of crap or that I'm right. Thanks, Andre. Oh, there was something else I wanted to tell you, Andre. This is totally off the record, or totally off the subjects that we've already discussed. I'm assuming you're going to be here at least 2 weeks. I recommend that you fly into either Washington or New York. You rent the car there, because you're going to want to see New York. You're going to want to see Washington, D.C. You drive down the East Coast, maybe into Florida, go see an amusement park. There's amusement parks in almost all of the states, just so you know. And then come back up, maybe go through Tennessee, go through Branson, and go through Nashville area, so you can go to Dollywood. Come down through Oklahoma so you can see Ken Rawlings. Hit Texas. Understand, if you come to Texas, Texas is a 2-day state just driving. If you're going to go down to the point, if you're going to go to Dallas, it's a full day of driving. When you go out, it's going to be a full day of driving. Make sure that you use a GPS on your phone. Buy yourself the charging stuff you're going to need for your equipment, maybe a couple of extra pieces, and bring them in your bag in case you leave something in a hotel or in a rental car. Get yourself a mounter for your phone that mounts to the vent, so you can easily put it on and off. If you're gonna have, because you might have more than one car, depending on what your plans are. And make sure that you go into Google Maps and turn on no toll roads unless you want to pay for tolls. Most tolls will let you drive through them without paying, but you will get a bill from the rental company. The rental company is not going to pay it. They're going to, and in about 3 or 4 months, maybe 6 months, they're going to get a bill from the from the state or county that's owed money, and then they're going to attack. They're not even going to send you a bill. You're just going to see a charge on your credit card. And I guarantee you, they're going to add a fee for taking the time to screw them over. So, either don't go through tolls or pay your tolls as you go. Anyway, like I said, if you go to Florida, tolls. New York, tolls. Chicago, tolls. Bridges. If you go to Texas, tolls. Anyway, so then you want to, after you leave Texas, and if you're going to go west, you want to go through Arizona, so you see the Grand Canyon. Right into Nevada, so you can go to Las Vegas and see the dam. And then if you want to go to California, make sure you get fuel before you go to California. fill up your tank just before you cross over the border into California. And then, assuming you're going to spend a couple of days there, you might have to get a fuel up. But drive across back out of the state on vapors. When you return the car, return it with the fuel that you started with. That's what like I said, if you're going to be here at least 2 weeks, hopefully you are, maybe 3 weeks, you're going to see some great things, great state parks. If you go through like Wyoming, North Dakota, California, there's state parks in almost every, I think every state. It could be every state, I'm not positive, but almost every state. And and like you said in a lot of your videos, there's some beautiful things to see in the United States, and there's some ugly things to see. Texas is one of those. You're on the west side of Texas, beautiful. I'm sorry, the other way around. East side of Texas, beautiful. West side of Texas, desert, dirty, or flat. I mean, it just looks, to me, it looks dirty. It's just that it's flat and sand. and dying bushes because it's hot, and not a lot of water. But like I said, East Coast, Texas, lots of greenery. Tennessee, beautiful. Oklahoma, beautiful. Depending on where you are in California, beautiful. So you're gonna have a great time when you and your wife come to the United States. This video is much longer than I expected. Have a safe trip when you come, and I enjoy watching a lot of your videos.